Welcome back, everyone. This afternoon, President Obama will address the nation with his plan to tackle the deficit, and apparently tax hikes are back on the table. But will that come with a price? Even the president's own party turning against him. On our panel today, radio talk show host and Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, chief business correspondent for U.S. News and World Report Rick Newman, and National Review editor Rich Lowry. A very pristine panel today. All right, ladies first, Leslie. So let me get your point on what you think we're going to hear from the president today, because many people are saying we need to hear specifics. The word on the street is we may not.
I have to tell you, being a Democrat, and like you said, some of the party are coming out angry, we have to hear some specifics. Because when people hear, hey, we're going to cut back on entitlements as far as tweaking and making changes, but we're not going to cut benefits. Well, A, how is that possible? And B, how does that reduce the deficit? We also need to know specifically what areas of defense are going to be cut. Does that mean all 50,000 from Iraq, the troops are coming home? Does that mean we're going to be pulling out of Afghanistan? That is key, because that is a huge amount of the spending currently. So absolutely, without question, he has to have specifics.
Rick?
Totally disagree.
Totally disagree.
I think the whole problem with this discussion is that the more specific you get, the more upsetting it gets.
Why?
Because nobody wants to know what's going to get cut and where the taxes are going to go up. These are two things that just have to happen. There has to be much deeper spending cuts than we've talked about so far.
And
taxes have to go up.
The speech is a waste of time.
I think Obama is just staying in the game. He doesn't want to be first to market on this, because basically this is a message voters don't want to hear.
Well, then why come back out? He already released a budget. Why come back out, Rich?
Because he's falling behind Paul Ryan and the Republicans, and he just has to stay in the game on this.
Yeah, the fact that he's given this speech at all is a tribute to Paul Ryan and testifies to the fact that the White House just thought it was getting too humiliating to have the President of the United States hiding under his desk on the main fiscal issues that are facing us. And I think it's extraordinary for the President of the United States to declare a mulligan on his own budget. He just recently introduced a great fanfare and was the basis of his State of the Union address to the nation.
Exactly.
And I think, as Senator Sessions says, if he's declaring his own budget dead on arrival, he should submit another one that can be scored and we can see the details and all the specifics, but he's not going to do that. He's just going to give a political speech.
So, Leslie, you
instead.
told me in the break that really you thought his first budget was an outline. At least that would be the Democratic talking point, because a lot of people figured that was what his budget was, and in fact he didn't include one recommendation from his own debt commission, and now he says he's going to include those in Part 2.
Actually, outline I got from one of your guys over there, the right side, the Republicans. Certainly, that it was more of an outline. The president wasn't being specific. As we did talk during the break, I'm not seeing a lot of specifics from the other side as well. And when the president speaks today, it just amuses me that you guys will say, where is the leadership? And Sessions did say, Mr. President, where is your budget? I think this is going to be more than talking points, because it has to be. You can't just say, I'm going to make these adjustments to these entitlement programs without having specifics if you're not attacking benefits.
When you submit, as a President of the United States, you submit a budget, it really does have to have the specifics. When you give a half-an-hour speech, it doesn't have to give the specifics, and that's why he's giving this speech. He's presenting his vision in the form of a speech, because it's much, much easier.
This is a massive long-term issue that's not going to get resolved in 2012 by any stretch of the imagination. Excuse me, in 2011 or 2012, and we're not even really going to get serious about it until after the election.
But it's interesting that only 7 days after the Republicans put their plan out, that the Democrat, President Obama, is coming out with his plan. Donald Trump's political popularity keeps on rising as well. A new poll shows him tied now with former Governor Mike Huckabee for first when it comes to who should get the 2012 GOP nomination. So, was White House advisor David Plouffe wrong when he said Trump has zero chance of winning? We're back with our panel, Leslie Marshall, Rick Newman, and Rich Lowry. Rich, are the Democrats afraid of Trump?
I'm going to say this slowly, because it's the first time the words have ever passed my lips. David Plouffe is right. He is not a serious candidate. He's a very shrewd guy. I'm sure he's calculating right now how to monetize all this. It is extraordinary. He's up there in the so high in the polls, which I just think speaks to the lack of enthusiasm for the candidates that are in now or are perceived as likely to get in, and also the fact just people are so sick of politics as usual and the political establishment, so they love to see Trump sticking a stick in everyone's eye.
All right, so you don't think he's a serious candidate. Rick, is he a serious candidate?
He can be a real candidate. I mean, maybe serious isn't the right word, because he can have a major effect on the race, even if he doesn't have a chance to get reelected. I mean, think about what Ross Perot's effect on the race in '92. Ralph Nader in 2000. And you just look how fragmented that list of Republicans is. I mean, that's basically great news for the Democrats, I think, and it just makes it harder for a real Republican frontrunner to emerge.
Especially since Trump has now gone on the record and said he would run as an independent.
That's right. That's important. That could be significant.
Very, very
Let's say he got 10% of the vote. That could be a big deal.
But Leslie, you're hearing from your Democratic insiders that Trump could be a force, and it might be the person that Obama doesn't want to go up against.
Yeah, actually, when I first said the guy I'm worried about the most is Trump, and people laughed at me on both sides of the aisle, okay? And I said, no. I come from California, where the Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, the Governator, was really my governor. It was real. It was a real thing. It wasn't a movie. It wasn't a Hollywood set. It seemed that way. So it can happen. I mean, the #1 reason people vote is name recognition. He's got it. It seems to be you need a reality show now.
I think we have a new revolving door. It used to be politics and business. Now it's politics and TV and movies. So maybe this is the new reality.
Which is a whole other discussion about where our political
the presidential campaign is a platform to promote your TV show.
But the idea that he's going to go into Iowa and do the things necessary to win the Iowa caucuses, that he has the patience and the temperament to be among the hay bales there, suffering fools gladly, I find very unlikely.
If he tells it like it is and continues to do that, it could be very entertaining.
It's going to be colorful.
Leslie, Rick, and Rich, good to see the three of you.
Thanks very much.